For those of you who don't know me, I'm Ayana Carrington. I'm the CEO of Your Project Board, and I'm also the person behind Purpose and Process, a Substack newsletter. And so for today, usually on the second Tuesday of every month, I usually drop a tool or a resource for my paid subscribers. And this month's tool rather is the Authority Factor System. Now, what I can usually do is just drop the tool and, in a piece, tell you what it's about and how to use it. But I figured that for today, I can do a quick walkthrough of what it is and what it's about. So, for this month in particular, we are focusing on authority, specifically for solopreneurs who want to start managing their business as the CEO. And we're focused on what it looks like to build that in a way that's sustainable and not in just like random bursts of energy. Last week, I did a Tuesday tip where I shared a little bit about outreach, and I talked about why the reason um, we go about outreach in the way that we do. It's because we don't have a clear foundation for it and it feels random, but we're also thinking about how we're going to be perceived on the other side of the outreach. Like, what are people going to think about me when I send this email or send this message, etc. And so, what I'm trying to get my audience and my community to do is to handle outreach in a way that feels more natural to them by building a consistent way to do it. So, for this particular guide, shout out to Claude. Um, it designed it for me, which is pretty dope. I don't know if I'm going to continue doing that, but I do like the template and the way that it looks, so I might continue using it altogether. But shout out to Claude, just so you guys are aware, you don't have to do decks on your own anymore. AI can handle that for you. Um, but so for this guide in particular, we're not thinking about just creating content like your social media content. We're thinking about visibility, which is important when you're a solopreneur trying to manage your business as a CEO. We're thinking about outreach and we're thinking about getting real opportunities. So I broke this down into 7 sections. I think it's about 15 slides long, and each section builds on the last thing that we're talking about. Um, I'm sorry, I'm like looking at two screens because I have the screen I'm recording and the screen where I'm looking. So apologies for that. So something else that I do want to talk about is we're going to be talking about this some more at length for the April 24th Building Systems That Scales workshop with our thought partner, Charles Ashley. Now, Charles is a brand and storytelling strategist. He does content development creation on a larger scale. So I asked him to come in and kind of help us navigate how to do content creation and building authority as solopreneurs. And we're super grateful that he's taking the time because Charles is super busy, practically traveling the world, helping brands and large companies tell the story behind their own projects, etc. So, just a really quick walkthrough of the guide. So, we have our authority factor system. Something that we always want to start with is I'm going to hop right into the audit here is where you actually stand in your industry and your space and just being honest about that, right? So, what do people come to you for? What questions do I find myself answering repeatedly? What results have I helped to create? Where am I showing up already? And where have I been inconsistent? And that's super important because you're basically taking, again, an audit of all you've done, all you've gotten attention for doing, and where you're just not showing up. For me, in my case, where am I inconsistent? Showing up in person to in person events. Where have I been consistent? Showing up virtually, showing up online. What do people come to me for? They come to get their back ends made seamless and they want things to be running more efficient, but they also come to me to get someone to help rework the way they think about themselves as a CEO, as a business owner. What kind of questions do I answer repeatedly? Ayana, how do you know this? Ayana, where did you find this? Ayana, how did you figure this out? And then also, what results have I helped create? Now, the way I share the results I create is I like to create little case studies, and some of them sit on my LinkedIn, but I also like to grab testimonials from my clients. So that helps me tell the story of what I'm good at. So that's just a quick overview of that portion of today's paid resource for subscribers on Substack. Then we have our authority positioning, right? What is my primary topic? Mine is, how do I take solopreneurs to CEO status, right? What specific problem do I solve? I don't really have just one specific problem that I solve, but there are quite a few. Who specifically benefits from working with me? My audience, if they're tapped in, my clients, if they're paying, right? Um, the people who take my advice and implement it immediately, that's that's what I'm known for. And how highly they speak of working with me, and how much they like my energy, and how much they like the end result of what we've done. And next on that is we have, how do we translate our authority into content, right? And so um, you have your long form, right? Um, you take one core idea, whether that's like a client experience, a lesson, a mistake, and a solution, and you take that and you first turn it into a long form content. Something that I talk about a lot is being a CEO who became a mom, and how difficult that was, and all of the things I put in place to continue to be a single mom while running a business and doing all of these other side projects, or side quests, as the kids will call it, going into different cohorts and business programming while managing the life of a special needs, medical needs child, and still keeping a business afloat somehow. And I talk about that, and sometimes I'll share that in the long form pieces here on Substack, um, or I'll make little videos about it. But either way, I start with that idea, and then I translate it over. And then from there, I break it down into smaller, tangible pieces to disperse across other mediums and online platforms. Next part, the outreach integration. And we have to thank one of our previous thought partners, our continued thought partner, Ed Morrow, who talks about how he shares resources directly to people he wants to engage with. So, for example, for today's video, some of you might get this video in full, but I may also have my content manager or myself, create those bite-sized pieces of content and share that out to my audience, especially to those that it feels natural to share that out to, right? So it's like, I'm not going to randomly connect with someone on LinkedIn, and the first thing I do is send a message to them like, hey, do you want to connect so that I could sell something to you? No, I don't do it that way, right? I want to build a relationship, a genuine relationship. I want to learn more about you so that when I reach out to you, I am authentically saying, hey, I have this tool that might work for you. So, how long have I been talking? Because I can't see myself. I've been talking for 8 minutes. So I'm going to wrap this up because I have a meeting to get ready for. But um, I would love for you guys to go ahead, lock in, get this tool, start working on it, and then join me and Charles on April 24th at 12 p.m., I believe, Eastern Time, for our workshop. All of the building systems at skill workshops are more than just, oh, you attend and you get spoken to for like an hour and a half, or 2 hours. Every session is, you're supposed to be coming in, asking questions, and we're working together on creating a process, a system to help you go from being just a solopreneur in your business to the CEO of your business. So that is it. If you have any questions, y'all know y'all can reach out to me. I will answer. And then run my mouth. So please reach out to me and ask any questions you may have. One of the things that I want you to hold on to before I go is authority isn't something that you just turn on. It's something that you build through repetition. In last week's video, I talk about um, pushing myself off the side of my aunt's house and learning how to ride a bike. And it was practicing and practicing and practicing. Also, like when I dance ballet, you start learning ballet from learning how to plie and jump to being able to do pirouettes. And that is consistent practice. And that's the same thing you're going to do when you're building authority. Okay, I have to go. I want to see you guys on April 24th. I want to see you in my messages asking me questions. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.